Okay, well, it's another fantastic one on That's Classic. Today we have a gentleman that I wanted to talk to for some time, and we finally connected, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. So he played Ben on the Waltons, and none other than Eric Scott. So Eric, welcome to That's Classic.
Well, thank you, John. It's great to be here.
Oh, fantastic. I got to tell you, I've had Judy on, I've had Michael on, and we've had a lot of different discussions, but it's always interesting to get a different perspective from another cast member, kind of what they went through too. So,
Sure.
um, I had a question for you right away. I did a ton of research on you, and the one thing that I was curious about, I didn't see anything mentioned about your audition for the Waltons. Did you actually audition for the show?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I think everyone auditioned as far as the kids were. My story at the time, I was doing a lot of different different shows prior to the homecoming coming up.
Hmm.
So I remember getting a call from my agent, and this was right around September of '71. So she she said that she was trying to get me in on an interview for a movie. It was a Depression era movie.
Yeah.
Um, and that they kept on saying, no, he looks a little too well fed to be in the Depression. So they finally, she said, took 2.5 months for them to say that they would want to see me. But the only thing was, and she says, I know this is going to be a tough thing. The only time they would see me was that year was on Yom Kippur, which I'm Jewish.
Wow.
So we thought that was interesting that that was the only day in which they wanted to see me.
Yeah.
So my mom talked to me at the time, and I said, "Well, we'll go. We'll go to services the night before, and I think God would understand if I'm going to an interview. It's like a job."
Yeah.
So I went on it, and at that point, since I was doing a lot of booking of TV shows and commercials and some movies at the time, I really had a good feeling when I would leave an interview, whether I did a good job or whether I felt like it was going to lead to something.
Sure.
And I walked out of there and I said, I'm so sorry I wasted your time, Mom. They didn't even look at me. And um, I
What
was
happened? What happened when you were in the room?
I was in there. We were doing the walnut scene, the walnut shelling scene from the homecoming in the barn, and there was 7 kids in there, 7 people in there just reading, and I just felt that they didn't even look at me. And I asked Earl later on. I said, Earl, I just felt like I got no energy from you guys. He goes, Oh, we just felt you felt fit in right away.
Wow.
Um, so the callback was a very interesting thing because I went back, and I would say I was back probably within a week to 10 days from the initial one.
Hmm.
And that's when John and Judy and Mary and David and Cammy were all there. And
Before we go on with the interview, I just wanted to remind you to please subscribe to That's Classic if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so that you'll know when my next episode is being released. Okay, let's go on with the interview.
we met Fielder Cook at the time and Earl Hamner at the time. And he they were talking about production starting October 5th of that year and going till November 5th of that year and all the logistics of it. And that they're so happy to have us on board for the project. And I had never had that kind of experience before where I walked out of there and I felt, okay, I booked it. We got it. And I never saw it cast right there in front of everyone. It wasn't like there was another person sitting out there for each character. It was like that was already in their minds the family that they wanted.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
and I've never seen that before. Never had it before. Never had it since. It was just one of those things. It was a fluky day that day that just worked to our advantage.
Was
Uh,
everybody kind of the same as you
well,
going,
Mary
wait,
had
we've
never
got the
done any
job?
work before. I remember Mary walked out and says, "What did that all mean?" And I said, "I think we got it." She goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." They were talking as though that was it. And usually it would take a couple more interviews to get yourself that much further along, or
Definitely.
they would just talk to your agent. Um, so, so now, fast forward, I was at that time up for another pilot. So this was a 2 hour movie to be filmed October to November, and at the same time, I was up for a part in King and I with Yul Brenner. They were going to try it as a series.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know. So I remember my agent talking to my mom, and my mom talking to me about it, and said, which one would you like to do?" And it paid more for the amount of, but it was only like a week, maybe 7 day shoot for the pilot. And I
Yeah.
had already done another pilot previous that year with Elkie Summers and Peter Bonners that did not sell. So I thought, well, yeah, it is Yul Brenner. Didn't know who he was, but okay, okay, I'm 12 years old, and so I said, well, I could do that. It's more money per episode or whatever, but we don't even know if it would sell. But the other one was 5 weeks of $500 a week guaranteed, so it was $2,500.
Yeah, that and
You know
which is a
what?
lot of money, especially in
In
71.
71. So I said, you know what? Let's do the movie. And as it turned out, the pilot, I don't know if I think they might have gotten an order for maybe a few episodes, and it never really, I don't think it was even shown or whatever. And then I ended up doing The Homecoming, and here we are talking 50 years later.
Seriously, it's amazing if you think about it. The fact that you didn't really know who Yul Brynner was such an advantage because if you're sitting there and you're looking at, you've got
On
it in front of
paper.
you. Yeah, on
Yeah.
paper, you go, oh, come on. Of course they're going to pick up. It's Yul Brynner.
Well, and this ours was not a series. It was a 2 hour movie for
Right.
Christmas that year. Only when we were filming it, that was the same year that MASH was changed. They adapted it from a movie to a
Hmm.
TV show. So there was this precursor starting to happen in the industry where they're starting to make series out of movies and things like that.
Hmm.
So there was talk, I remember when we were towards the end of the filming, that CBS was absolutely enthralled by the dailies that we were sending off to them. Unlike anything they've seen in years. So there was talk that wouldn't it be fun to come back and maybe do another movie or something like that, but to do a series. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit more background at the same time.
Great.
In October, I had, again, being Jewish, my
Hmm.
bar mitzvah was planned for, I think it was October 29th, probably 29th or 30th.
Yeah.
We were going to be going to Wyoming to do the exteriors for the homecoming during that.
Jackson Hole.
That's right. So we had to change my bar mitzvah to February 12th the next year. I think it was of 72.
Hmm.
And I remember John was there and Mary was there and Judy was there. And I don't know if David or Cammie were there, but they were at my bar mitzvah. My
That's
agent
wild.
at that point, this is now February, she has kept a secret from me that it turned into a series. And she told me on that day that it became a series.
Oh my gosh, is that cool?
Yeah.
Were
And we
you?
started production in May. So it was
Oh.
like a night, I mean, it was a dream come true.
Hi everyone, it's John. I just wanted everyone to know about my That's Classic membership. See the join button in the corner of the video? Just click that. For $3.99 a month, you get a members-only live chat with me where we talk about classic television in depth. We talk about specific shows you might be interested in, suggestions. It is just a lot of fun. It's been a great collaboration with the members that are part of the program already. For that, you also get a shout out with your name on my next episode, and you get my episodes released to you early before the general public. So hit the join button, become a member. Let's go back to the video. Oh, literally, what a
Yeah.
moment to tell
Yeah.
you. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's so cool that they were all there. I mean, the fact that
Yeah.
you
Well, we
you
we we
bonded like
bonded.
that.
Yeah, we bonded in those 5 weeks. It was an unusual shoot for me because we had the first week was rehearsals, and then we filmed over at CBS Radford in
Oh,
Studio
sure.
50. And the final week we went up to Wyoming and filmed the last week there in Wyoming. So it was, and we were all on a chartered I think it was a DC-3 that
Oh,
they
wow.
chartered for us all to be on the plane together to go up on it, which I'd never been on a
Oh,
private
I'm
plane
sure.
before. I mean, I had been maybe on two other flights before that to go up to see relatives in Northern California, and that's it. I never had been on many planes. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool. Now, did you know, at the time, obviously, Edgar Bergen was in that cast.
right.
Did you have any sense of like who this guy was?
My mom told me, again, we couldn't go on the internet and see who these people were,
Yeah.
but she told me that he was, like a Paul Winchell,
Oh, okay.
which
Yeah.
which that was more of our generation of the '60s,
Right.
and so she said he was a Paul Winchell, and so yes, and I think maybe you probably heard that while we were filming up there in Wyoming, he actually brought he brought, I think, Charlie Sneed and Mortimer Snerd
Oh,
with
oh,
him.
I am so
And
envious.
yeah, and he brought them out and he did a little show for us in this little lobby of this hotel that we were staying at. Um, since he was a radio ventriloquist,
Hmm.
I'll be honest with you, his mouth moved a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
right. I've
but
heard that.
one thing he did that was unbelievable, he was able to send his voice across the room.
Oh,
I mean, you've heard that where people
yeah,
can
I've heard
hear their
people.
voice.
Yeah.
He threw his voice, and I don't know if it was he was trying to do like Santa Claus coming down the chimney or what. And I don't remember that part, but I just remember being mesmerized. I'm watching him, and the voice was coming from over here. It was
Oh, is that
very
cool?
cool.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah. So, I was, at that time I just became 13, and I'm watching this, and I thought, wow, he's a lot more than just an actor. I mean, what do I know about these things? So,
Yeah, that's super cool. So did you, when you were at the initial audition, did you know any of them beforehand? No.
no, no. The only association I had in the filming, not from the audition, but just from the filming of it, I worked on Andrew Duggan. He was our father on the Homecoming. I
Hmm.
worked with him about 8 months earlier on Lancer, which was his series.
Hmm.
Um, so I mentioned that to him when I saw him. He only worked one day on the show, and it was towards the end of our filming over in CBS. And I mentioned to him, and I could tell he didn't have memory of it, but he was very happy that I said something because you'll notice that in that one scene, there's a lot of energy he has towards Ben.
Uh-huh.
And I know it's because he didn't know anyone else. I mean, I came up to him beforehand and said, I was
Yeah,
on the show. I don't know if you remember, there was a pig in there and I ate it at the dinner table with you. And he goes, oh, I remember that episode. So, it was like, yeah, it was very fun to have that kind of a connection.
well, he used it. I mean, I have an
And he
acting
used it.
background myself. He used that excitement right into the scene.
Absolutely.
That's so smart. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
So I know that one thing I noticed in the interviews is that you obviously really looked up to Richard Thomas.
Yes.
And I was curious when he left the show, did you have a moment? Did he pull you aside? Was there any moment where he's like, hey, by the way, I'm going to be leaving? I mean, anything like that?
Well, he was very forthright with everyone of what his plans were right from the very beginning, but we thought, that's just, he's
Right.
just using that as a negotiating ploy. He'll sign for 4 more years, but he
Exactly.
didn't. He didn't. He walked away. I felt saddened because he was the glue. He was
Hmm.
what, when you're having something as successful as the Waltons were for those first 5 years, and it was running, why would you disrupt the whole thing in the middle of it? I mean,
Yep.
it's one thing if you saw, what, wait, it's starting to, but it was as strong as ever.
Hmm.
And we were. I remember going out, and he would take me out to dinners and stuff like that for my birthdays and stuff. So we had a true friendship, and
Yeah.
so, yeah,
That's
I
why I was
felt,
curious.
yeah, so I felt jilted
Hmm.
um, by him leaving. So, but I also the way he expressed, he goes, look, it might give you an opportunity to do a lot more work on the show too.
Hmm.
So he was always very positive about it, and it was never anything that was emotional from his standpoint. He was
Hmm.
a he did a lot of stage and stuff. So he went from one production to another. Ralph and Michael also came from theater, so they were very used to that type of thing. But I wasn't. So
Right.
it was tough.
What did you know? Because obviously you're a young guy, and you've got Richard Thomas, and who not that you weren't an accomplished actor, but also he's a very accomplished actor. What did you take away from watching him, from being around him, that kind of affected you?
Well, Richard to me was one of the best actors I've ever been around.
Hmm.
And certainly from his age too. He started when he was 21 on the show.
Yeah.
So, it was very impressive. Just the way he took the part, he took the character study. His ability to memorize was something I was envious of.
Mm.
Um, and just he was so well prepared. So he gave me a lot of wow, I need to get to the next level.
Hmm.
And so I think he inspired all of us on the show. He also never did the star treatment energy. Um,
No.
he never had that attitude. We were a troupe right from the very beginning, and he carried that through. So a lot of admirable qualities, I'd have to say, working with Richard. But I could also say that about Ralph and Michael and
Sure.
Will and Ellen. They were, if we were to have stars from the show to teach you how to be a good actor, they were the right ones to have.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Definitely. Oh my gosh. What it did now, once you got going, did you realize how, kind of iconic Helen was? I mean,
you
wow.
mean Ellen?
Yeah, Ellen
Oh
was.
yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So I did see It's a Wonderful Life,
Hmm.
and so I knew she was around for years and years, and then
Oh my gosh.
she told us she was the script supervisor for Laurel and Hardy's. So
Yes, I had heard that.
yeah, so we're going, oh my gosh. And you're talking to now a 13-year-old Laurel and Hardy. Now we're talking. Tell me it's
Right.
the Three Stooges. I'm really gonna go crazy.
Right, right. That's cool. Did you get a chance to talk to her? Did she say anything just in regards to that?
Oh yeah, no, she would talk about her experiences of it and how much it's changed, but also she she was talk about a consummate professional. I mean, um she came in word perfect on everything. Being a script supervisor, she took the script like the letter of the law. You
Mm,
don't adapt, you don't change, you don't do anything other than what's written.
man.
So that's what I got from her. She also was a very no nonsense type of person, but she was very loving too.
Yeah.
So she encouraged us all to get some kind of a thing to collect. She was a collector of ladybugs. And so she always wanted us to all have something that we basically I give her a reason to pick up something for birthdays and Christmases, I guess. But she always wanted to have us have collections of things. So um, I said, okay, well, I like owls. So I got constantly things from her of owls. And then it got into one of the Teen Beat things that I liked owls. And then all of a sudden, all those things started coming in. So I had a whole room of owls and stuff. And so then by the time I was 17, I'm going, this is so stupid.
That is too funny that it got into Team Beat and everybody starts mailing you owls.
I got so many different owl
Oh.
pillows and little figurines and things. And it was like, and then one of them came in and they said, can we take a picture of you with all your owls? And I think I remember doing that. And it was all over my apartment at the time. So
Mm.
it was pictures of me with all my owls and some kind of a
Oh,
hide and
is
seek thing.
that funny? Now how about Will on the other side of the coin? What was he
Okay,
like?
so I told you about Ellen being letter perfect.
Yep.
Will was just the antithesis of this.
Mm.
So here, Will Will was a hippie, and
Yeah, oh yeah, he had that theatrical botanicum or whatever up in like
Theatricum
Topanga Canyon.
Botanicum. Will Arlo Guthrie and Woody Guthrie were friends of his, and he was as liberal as you could get. And, I was more of that conservative, again,
Yeah.
raised low, I guess they would call it lower middle class Jewish family in the
Uh-huh.
valley. So he comes in and he's a hippie. He's walking in, he's got sandals on, he's
Oh,
wearing flowy shirts, and he's got a purse on him, a
oh
bag,
my gosh.
and in the bag is Shakespeare and all these other things, and he's got his glasses that he's wearing, and he's got big hats that he wears, and um it's like I've never seen anything like this. And he also had this goal to meet 5 new people every day. That was his
Oh,
goal. Five
what?
new people. And it's not just like getting to know you, John, on a superficial. He got to know you. He got just what you're doing with me right now. He got to know those people. And they would come back sometimes a year or two later, and he knew exactly who they were, their name, and their lives.
That's a massive goal, by the way.
Unbelievable. And you think about the last time you met 5 people in a day. What a wonderful day that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did that every day. And
That's
it wasn't just
amazing.
5 that he would stop at. He would start the day, especially in the summer when there was a lot of people coming through on tours and stuff, and some of them would just hang back and stick around. He'd go out to lunch with them all, and they come back. And by the end of the day, sometimes he was sitting there, and there would be 12, 14 people just sitting around, and he would just tell them stories. And he'd give them quotes of Shakespeare or Walt Whitman or whatever. And so it was almost like having a Buddha on the set.
Yeah.
He just had this wonderful glue about people and humanity. And of course, he was he was drinking his marijuana tea and stuff like that. So it was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen. You couldn't put it in any words of what I was seeing and witnessing. So for me, I'm going, this is a cool cat. I mean,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
great. Uh,
Yeah.
and he never stopped learning. He never stopped. He taught us all about plants, and I still know my Latin names of plants from him and stuff. And it's like he you couldn't help but learn from him. Now, as an actor,
Yeah.
it's tough to act with someone when you never know what they're going to say and when they're going to end up
Mm-hmm.
talking.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the only thing about Will. I had no idea when to talk. I would just sometimes I'd have to push him, or I'd have to say, "Grandpa, you're not listening to me," because he would want to go onto some kind of tangent and stuff like that. So it was not easy to work with him, and of course him with his scenes with Ellen, who is script perfect.
How funny.
The two of them, when she got angry and frustrated, a lot of that was really just professional frustration. He just it was Will, and
Oh,
and I think he did it on purpose because he could quote 8 hours straight of someone,
hmm.
and it was perfect. But I
Yeah.
think in a way he wanted to catch us off guard. He wanted to titillate Grandma to get to her to that point. He liked that kind of energy from her that would work opposite him.
Yeah.
But the magic that he brought on the show, and still now you'll read people that talk about the show and the impact of Will on the show and on people that viewed it.
Mm-hmm.
Back then a lot of us did not have grandparents growing up. The longevity was not what it is now.
True.
So I know that for myself, my grandpa died. My last grandpa, my dad's father, I never met because he died when my dad was 13. My other grandpa died when I was 5. So I was
Hmm.
grandpa-less when I met Will. Will was a grandpa.
Yeah.
So, and I got him for 5, 6 wonderful years.
That's
So,
pretty cool. That's
yeah.
pretty cool. Was he when he was with you off stage then, would he, like goof around a bit, so to speak, or
Um, he he wouldn't goof around. He wouldn't be silly or get on the ground with us and that kind of thing.
okay.
It was more of like a professor type of
Mm,
thing, a hippie professor,
mm-hmm.
where he wanted to impart his knowledge on you.
I
But
got you.
it's not like he would sit there and play games with you.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. And then you've got, it's
Yeah.
just so funny that you've got, I mean, as we're talking, I'm like, my gosh, were you surrounded by talent?
Yeah.
Ralph and Michael, what, in a way too, they're very different as well. I mean, they have by all means, just from what I've heard and talking to Michael, but also very close. What was Ralph like for you as, obviously he's playing your father, but did he, you know, bond with you off set, or was it more like I go to my trailer kind of guy?
Um, Ralph, again, the theater is what comes to mind.
Hmm.
So when he was in between shots, he'd be working.
Hmm.
He would just be talking.
Hmm.
You could see he's thinking about the scene. He's into the scene. Um, and so there was a bit of a respect there.
Hmm.
I wouldn't goof around in front of him. I'd goof around all the time, but away from him
Yeah.
because he was a serious guy. Um, so I but he was also very charming and he would talk to us and everything else. But we always joked because again, being theater, he didn't remember our names. I mean, he, he would remember Ben. I don't know how he'd call me Eric later on in the series, but sometimes just son, you know, whatever. So you would hear that a lot. He would say that a lot on the show. I don't know if he remembered all of our names, but sometimes he would even say, like, I think he called John Walmsley, he called instead of Jason, he called him John one time. So I
Oh,
mean, he went, yeah, he didn't remember all those things. So it was it was funny that,
that is funny.
yeah, yeah, but
Oh man.
he was wonderful to work with and so intense. And when he was when you had a scene with him, um, you had to study a little bit more. You
Mm.
know, you needed to be a little more prepared than just walking in and saying your lines. He demanded that of you, and I was honored to do that kind of thing.
Oh, sure. It raises you up. Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they always talk about when you play with a good tennis player, you rise to the occasion.
Hmm.
Well, it's the same thing in acting. If you've got a real good actor, it raises the bar for what you can achieve in that moment.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
And on the other side with Michael, I got the impression, at least talking to Michael, like there was a little bit more of a motherly quality going on there than just, you know.
Well, okay, so let's backpedal a second and let's
Sure.
talk about Pat Neal.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
One of my favorites, by the
So
way.
again, you can't look at the opposites of the casting they did to go from movie to series
Hmm.
was pretty. I don't think I've seen that done so well,
Yeah.
because they took in consideration what is more palatable for the long term.
Hmm.
Pat Neal and Andrew Duggan were I mean, very strong characters.
Definitely.
I thought Pat Neal was amazing. I remember working with her. My mom said, you got to be gentle with her because she's coming back from a stroke." Which, okay, you tell a 12-year-old to be careful. What does that mean?
Right.
Okay, I'll just run around away from her.
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to stop running around. That's me.
Right.
Um, so, but the way she took it was it was that very, very Southern depressed time. You could tell she had worked the fields. She had lived a hard life to get where she was at that point.
Hmm.
It was very non-Hollywood,
Yeah.
her character that she created of Olivia. Um, so you bring in Michael, who, first of all, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. When I came on
Great.
the set, I went, "That's our mom?
Right.
This is great." So, but again, she brought acting, and again, okay, strong women characters before that. I was on Bewitched with Elizabeth Montgomery.
Hmm.
I was with, so Elkie Summers, I was with a year earlier doing that pilot. So
Right.
I worked with a lot of ingenues and leading women of that time. And Michael comes in, unlike most others. And I mean, there's a reason why she won 3 Emmys
Yep.
in the first 4 years or something like that. So she took it, and I don't think I've ever seen um, a lady, an actress take over a role like that and did it with such command. And I remember in the Easter story, that was the very end of the first season. I
Oh
remember
yeah.
having a scene with her, and I was so excited to work with her, just her and I. It was just,
Mm.
that was the first time I worked with her, just the two of us, and it was very fun. It was amazing. So, um, Michael is, she's a gem. She's great.
Was she, when you were working with her on that first time, do you remember, was she the type, would she do the, you do take one, you do take two. Was it always kind of the same energy, or was she one of these actresses that would just tweak a little bit here or there type of thing?
Well, Michael and Ralph knew their characters better than the directors.
Hmm.
So there was not too much correction ever being done
Hmm.
um, by any director for them. And as far as for Will and Ellen, I don't think there was much direction needed. They knew their characters pretty amazing.
Hmm.
I think Richard would talk to the directors if he had a point of view that might be differing what they are suggesting. He
Hmm.
usually won out because he knew, again, his characters. So there might be a tweak along the way, like Michael wasn't happy with the previous take. I wouldn't have noticed the difference myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could tell there was minute changes in the way she did things, or sometimes you knew she wasn't happy with it and she said, let's do it again.
Hmm.
So I we were very lucky with those five,
Yep.
on the set. They steered it all very, very nicely for us.
It's interesting that you brought up about the knowing their characters so well, like better than the directors and that. One thing though, I feel like not that you're selling yourself short, that's not what I mean, but I felt like the other the kids in the family, yourself and Judy, John Waltons, Everett, I felt like in the interviews that I've watched and just seen different stories, I also got the impression that you guys honestly kind of knew your characters better than the directors or even the writers at times on the show.
Oh,
Um,
I would agree with that. Again, when you have such a large cast, especially with the kids, I think what they did is they started just watch us as individuals, and they
mhm.
started to almost create our characters based on us
Okay.
instead of the other way around.
Hmm.
So, when John, with his music abilities, they made that his whole direction of his character. For myself, it was, they saw that the business applications, and the fact that I wanted to be on the show and I wanted to be in. I mean, the reason why I went and worked over in the shed with Richard and in the newspaper thing. I knew I'd get more scenes. I knew later on I went into the mill because I'd get a lot of scenes with Ralph. So it was like
Hmm.
I wanted to do things that would get me on the show.
Hmm. Smart.
I remember there was a time when there was a question about Erin and Ben. Who's older? Who's younger? Well, I'm the same age as Judy, and Mary's the same age as David.
Hmm.
So there was about 3 years separating us. So um, but Mary started growing, and I stayed very consistent. We'll stay consistent.
Right.
So
I
I
love
remember,
that term.
yeah. So I remember they came to me and they said, we're gonna maybe shift a little bit and maybe have Erin get some of the older parts. And I talked to, I remember Ellen heard this and she came to me because I encouraged them to do that.
Hmm.
And I said, why? She goes, well, first of all, you don't care playing younger. Girls, she wanted to start
Mhm.
wearing her makeup and get the hair done, everything that a
Yeah.
13, 14-year-old girl wants to do. They see mama getting it and they want to have, so she said, if you stay younger, there's more to write about you.
Hmm.
I said, ah, I like that idea. So
Oh
I said,
yeah.
yeah, let her grow up older than me. Um, so there was, again, that was one of those times where nature, art was not going to duplicate nature. We're just
Hmm.
going to
Hmm.
make a shift here. And although she's 3 years younger, we're going to let Erin go ahead of Ben. So, sure.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
It makes me think of that, and I get them confused. I'll be honest with you. I get the episodes confused in my head, but I think it's the Ferris wheel one where the guy calls you Shorty or something like that. Am I right on that? I can't. I'm trying to
There
remember.
was a few. There was a few episodes of that with me wanting to get lifts in my
Yeah,
shoes.
right, right. Yeah, I remember that, which is
It's
funny now
funny.
when we're putting this together because
Well, you
I'm like,
also okay. So you don't know this, but my dad was only 5'3".
oh,
So for me, at the age of 12, I was already past him. So it was, it's all relative of what you grew up with. My
yep.
uncle was a jockey over in Canada. So it's
Oh
like,
man.
and my mom was 4'11" on a good day. So
Yeah.
there was, I wasn't that short in my family. We were just a bunch of munchkins.
Right,
We just,
right. It is a matter of perspective, though. It's so funny. I'm
yeah.
kind of
So,
similar to you. My mom's 5 feet. My dad was about 5'6" or so. I matched him, so I felt like I was fairly average. And then my son has gone over that 5'6" to like 5'7" or so, and so
oh,
he feels the
well,
same way. Like,
yeah. Well, he walks in the room and he goes, fee, fi, fo, fum, right?
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, my son is 5'7", so I go hats off. But of course, he takes pictures with all his friends, and he's always in the front.
Oh yeah, of course.
I can show you pictures of me in my school pictures, and I was always in the front row with all the girls.
Oh yeah, no, me too, by the way. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like 4'11", I think, my senior year of high school. I jumped up right as I went to college.
Okay, so I went from 4'11" to about almost 5'5" in 1 year.
That's how it was for me.
And I remember the pains in my knees. I remember because I mean that was almost an inch every other month. I mean,
Yeah.
it was incredible growth. I thought, oh my God, one more year of this, I'm going to get to 6 feet. Well, that was
I see.
it. I got maybe a quarter of an inch more, and that was it. Oh,
Oh,
well.
is that funny? That's exactly what happened to me. It's so cool actually to hear you say that because I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, because I think back, I'm like, am I right on that? But that's exactly what happened to me.
So I
Wow, is
have
that
three
wild?
kids. My eldest, Ashley, which she just had a baby herself, so I
Oh,
am a
that's cool.
grandpa.
Congrats.
Thank you very much. She is maybe 4'10" on her tippy toes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And my second daughter, Emma, is maybe 4'11".
Hmm.
So it took me three kids to get one over 5 feet.
Right. I love how you look at that. That's great. Um, so I have another thought that came into my head too, is
Yeah.
with all of you, because I have been fortunate enough to meet, I think almost the whole cast. I think John is the only one I haven't met,
Okay.
but every one of you, and I don't, yeah, who is still alive, also grounded. I mean,
You're
every one of
fooled. No.
but
No,
it's true. What
it
what
is.
is it that every one of you is I mean, literally, I hate to use that term, but it's true, normal. What
Yeah.
is it?
Well, I think that there's more normalcy than we sometimes give the industry credit. We
Fair.
tend to focus on the negatives in life.
Hmm.
It's human
Sure.
nature. Um, I've always said that us kids or us children stars are probably just a snapshot of regular society
Hmm.
in a lot of ways. You're going to have a lot of kids that get troubled,
Hmm.
and you're going to get a lot of kids that are going to come out all fine. Uh, we did have the benefit. My mom was on the set for me,
Hmm.
and I thank her for
Oh,
being
definitely.
there and talk about centering me. So,
Mhm.
you know, she kept me very grounded. I'd finish up work and I'd still have to go clean up after the dog when I got home.
Yep.
And, I went through Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. So it's like,
Oh my gosh. Okay, come on, man. That's huge. Anybody with any sense of that, should
Yeah.
know. I mean, that's major that you
Yeah.
made Eagle.
Yeah. So on the weekends I'd go when I had the opportunity. I mean, I couldn't because we did a lot of promotion for the show, but when I
Mhm.
could, I'd do camping trips and do what I needed. And in the evenings, I'd make appointments with merit badge counselors and go meet
Mhm.
them and learn something about a subject.
Yeah.
Um, so and I cleaned my house, my room, and I had to clean my closet on Saturday. So it's like she kept me as normal in an abnormal situation.
Wow.
And I know she was there for the other kids too, because some of them did not have their moms or dads available to come on a regular basis. They would have, so she watched out for everyone. Um, I don't know if Judy was Judy says my mom scared her. I thought, okay, well, not going to disagree.
Right, right. Oh, is that
But
funny?
someone that wanted to be totally independent, yes, I could see that being a challenge. But
Yeah.
we were too young to be totally independent. We needed
Oh, you need direction. You always do. Yeah, yeah.
you need
What
someone to say, okay, enough.
what do you think it is that has kept all of you still bonded? I mean, this is a long time. I mean, we're looking at what are we looking at? 50 years or more, more than 50. Yeah.
Well, you know, people that go, I still have a friend of mine, Howie, that I went to kindergarten with.
Hmm.
Um, you know, we so I was 12 when we did the pilot, and in the movies when I was 22. So that's 10 years that we were with each other more than our families.
Yeah.
Um, you could have walked away and had really close friends from them,
Hmm.
or you don't. My youngest, he's right now at Syracuse and he's a senior now. He he has 22 wonderful friends that he has made.
Uh,
And they travel together, they have a great time. They will be lifelong friends. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing here. We had an experience together, and we chose to keep the relationship together.
Yeah.
Um, it says something usually about loyalty. Um, so that comes into play. But I think we all recognize that we would be better together in our lives than to not have it.
That's cool. I mean, that's
Yeah,
really cool. Jeez.
yeah.
And
And Michael always says, we're like the family without the drama. So, we have that respect level, that sometimes our siblings may not recognize.
yeah, yeah. That's seriously cool. By the way, one thing I also noticed about in researching you is which kind of I hadn't put together, but it sounds like you tried to do as much as you could as far as your own stunt work, so to speak. You were kind of that guy that wanted to do things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh, it's fun. It's
yeah,
fun. Yeah, learning a script and the idea of going up a Ferris wheel or going and doing this or running or yeah,
it looks like when you step into that Ferris wheel car, whatever. I mean, it looks like you're really up there.
yeah. No, they brought a stunt double in, and I said no, I want to do it. And there's always that joke that if the director will do it, then you can do it too. Well,
Yeah,
I'm not going to ask the director to go do it,
right, right.
but I did say I want to do it, so I did do it. And the guy was there, and he did it for the lighting purposes and the camera stuff, and I just did it for the shot. But
Man,
yeah,
I
and why
I
not?
remember that distinctly, and I was like,
Yeah,
that is not like you can tell that is you,
yeah, yeah, it was
you
fun.
know? Wow.
It's fun. Why not?
What about like scenes with like you were mentioning like, going in and working in the, with the wood in the mill and that kind of stuff. Was that, I mean, look, my dad was really into woodworking and he
Uh-huh.
had, our basement, we had the machines. I remember doing stupid stuff like working with the saber saw, whatever. Did Did you, I mean, wood can pop back at you, that kind of stuff.
Well, okay,
Did,
so in seventh grade and eighth grade, what do we do in junior high back then when they called it junior high? We had our
Mhm.
metal shop, we had our wood shop, we had electric, or you had auto repair, or whatever it was
True.
that your schools had. And I remember making my ashtray. It's such a great
Mhm.
thing to make for your parents when you're,
Right.
here's an ashtray. And then one of the other first things we had was our wood shop. He made us make paddles.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so we had a
Yep.
paddle and we had to take it over to the PE coach guy and he had to try it on us.
Oh no. Oh geez. Oh
So
geez.
most of the time he said he had to add more holes to it so it can really get the air going. So again, the punishment that we went through back then in school
I
is
mean,
not,
come on.
is acting is easy compared to that.
Exactly. Oh.
So I guess I'm pretty handy with my hands, and so when it came to us using the sawmill, I thought it was fun. It
Mm.
was big. It was old, dilapidated tools that we were using in woodshop just 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I guess that's true.
I just used what I was comfortable with the tools, and I was fine with it. John didn't like working with it. David didn't like working with it. I
Hmm.
liked it. It was fine. No
Interesting.
problem.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was the the stage itself? What was the layout of the stage? I have subscribers that will literally write to me and just say, "How was it laid out, like room to room? What it so when you went in and you're on the stage, how did they have the rooms laid
Okay,
out?"
you're talking about the interiors?
Yeah, the interiors.
Okay, so it was stage 26 in Warner Brothers. You went in. There was, first of all, you'd see a porch, and the way they did the porch, they took it at a slight slope up so that it would have a step down.
Hmm.
So that way you could walk off of it,
Hmm.
which would give you that feeling that if you were matching that with an outside shot of us coming down the step two, step three, and then the ground, it would have been able to match it
How
perfect.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then you walk through the door and there was the living room and the dining area, and then the kitchen. And then there was um, the side little, I guess you would call it a mud room
Hmm.
off to the side. And then there was the grandpa's room that was attached, grandma and grandpa's room. And then there was the stairs leading up to nothing.
Yeah.
I would say 20 feet away was the boys' room, connected by the bathroom, connected to the girls' room or the parents' room, based on what they wanted, with a
Hmm.
hallway attaching them, and then John Boy's room at the very end.
Hmm.
If you go to the left side, there was the Godsey store interior with a
Yeah.
lift and the pool table on the back side.
Oh.
And then before that was the Baldwin sisters, um, their entryway and their living area. And then next to that was the basically the distillery room.
Oh, yeah,
So,
right.
yeah, so it was the three rooms. Later on, they added the interior of the shed for John Boy when he was doing the printing, and
Hmm.
then for Ben and Cindy's, they rebuilt it and made it bigger for Ben and Cindy's house when they were living in the shed.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So, and then in the very back, we had there was like a cube of rooms. So there was the craft service, there was the makeup, there was the best boys room, and then there was usually a guest dressing area.
Hmm.
And later on, that became Ellen's because it was a little too difficult for her to go
Yeah.
off the stage and go into a trailer. She just walked over there and she used that. On the front side, there was also, as you walked into the right, there was three more of these dressing areas. And for the first couple seasons, that's where the boys were in one and the girls were in another one.
Hmm.
So there was no room to really do anything other than get dressed, and all three of us together, and and
Yeah.
then and it was chicken wire with some kind of a muslin type material over it, so you couldn't have any privacy or talk when there was ever any filming. It was just it was it was silliness.
Yeah.
To try to have any kind of, so we never got away from anything. And then also for the first season, they put like this rail car in on the left side, and that was our schoolroom.
Huh.
Well, again, how can you teach with us not being able to talk whenever the
Yeah.
things were ringing? So that didn't take long for us to be. We were evicted from that, and they gave us a big trailer they put right outside stage 26, and that became Walton's Mountain School, and it was two rooms. The three eldest, John, Judy, and I, had one room, and the three younger ones, Cammie, Mary, and David, had the other room.
Hmm.
So, and later on, John left, Mary and Judy left, and then I left, and then they took over the whole thing. So
How was the schooling, by the way?
schooling was wonderful. I had concerns about that because
Hmm.
I was taking some advanced classes in math and in
Hmm.
I was taking German when we I got cast.
Hmm.
They provided us with extra teachers
Hmm.
for my the first year they provided me for the math
Hmm.
and the German. Second year they couldn't find a teacher to teach me the math. It was a program brought on by the Columbia, and it was they were doing trig
Hmm.
and pre-calculus in eighth and ninth grade. And if you
Hmm.
followed this program, you would have ended up with a certain amount of credits in your college. But
Right.
they couldn't find a teacher to teach it, so I just went into just I guess they would it was an AP type, you
Hmm.
know, math
Hmm.
classes, but I didn't they didn't call it AP back then. I was just
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. My son is a math, really, really into math, so I understand it on a very high level. So I know
okay.
exactly where
Yeah.
you're at. It's a shame that they didn't find somebody because I think obviously you were in that path. So
Yeah. Well, you again, you have to make concessions along the way.
sure.
And they were always great with it. We always had the best teachers.
Hmm.
And so we were very lucky. Um, you know, people hear about only 3 hours a day of school. How can you get an education? I think all of us, our educations were phenomenal.
Hmm.
You know, so they did a great job.
Very
You have to
focused.
keep good grades or you can't get your work permit in
Right.
California.
Right.
So you know,
Yeah, that makes a big
dangle that in front of you.
exactly. That's a
So if you're
big
not inspired to do good in school under normal circumstances,
right.
pull in this one.
Right. Now we've got a series, we got money, everything else. Did by the way, did you your wife who was played by Leslie Denton, did you
Leslie Winston.
Winston? God,
Yeah,
why does that you know what's so funny?
that's okay.
There's an actor, James Denton, who might be on my show, who literally I was going through things yesterday, and that name hit me right in my head. But
Okay.
anyway, yes, Leslie Winston. Did one I understood from, like I said, researching you guys are still in touch. But one thing that I came across that I thought was interesting, I guess she bonded really heavy with Mary and Judy. I guess they were really tight. Do you recall that? Like them
Oh
being
yeah. Oh yeah. No, she first of all, Leslie is still a dear friend of ours. In fact,
Hmm.
my wife went out with her for lunch yesterday.
Oh my gosh, come
Yeah,
on.
they both cheat on me. There's only one thing in life that I don't eat, and that's tuna tuna fish sandwiches. I just I like ahi.
Yep,
I have no problem with real tuna, but I
I
don't
got
like
it.
canned fish. So they go out and they are in search of the best tuna fish in Los Angeles. And they went out yesterday and had their tuna fish. So yes, so Leslie is a dear friend of ours. We get together, we travel together. You know, she and her late husband Bob were dear friends of ours.
Hmm.
Mary and her husband Don. There's the six of us. When Mary lived here in California, we
Hmm.
used to travel and get together on a regular basis.
Wow.
They're still, of course, dear friends of ours, but we don't get together as often,
Sure.
Mary and Don. But I still, but Leslie and I, we go to Dodger games. Um, we go everywhere. It's wonderful having friends like that.
And the initial casting, that one thing I took away too, which by the way, I personally thought was really weird was that you had no say at all. Like you hadn't even really read with her.
No, we okay. I read one time. I did read with her one time, at the very end. Or I think it was, and it was one of the only times I was ever brought up to the producer's office to do anything because,
Huh.
yeah, they were fine doing their thing. So okay,
I
that's
mean,
not.
that's kind of crazy. I mean, the fact that you're still friends and that you obviously anybody that watched the show, natural two of you have a chemistry, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, I loved working with her. She was great.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I guess they knew me better than I knew myself.
I guess. I guess. How
You
how
know?
much how much of you, by the way, is would you say is um Ben? Like how much of you when you look at the character and having played the character, how much are we seeing Eric? Where are
Well,
we seeing Eric coming through?
Ben honestly was an idiot. So,
Well, he was
so
a risk taker. He was ambitious. Come on.
no, he was very impulsive. And he also was a lot more emotional than I am.
Yeah,
I say
fair.
that, but you ask my two daughters, I don't know, they might disagree. But
Uh,
there, Ben definitely did a lot of different kinds of things that I'd go, what is he thinking?
uh,
Why is he thinking this way? Whatever. So it was funny. It's fun to watch them now and look at them and see that's my 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old self interpreting a script on how
hmm
different it would be looking at it now.
Yeah.
So
Did you watch the show when you were younger?
um I did, yes. The first few years I watched it religiously. Um
Really?
yeah, I wanted to, because what happens is as an actor, you do your scene, you can feel good about it, or you can say, okay, and it didn't work exactly the way I envisioned it happening, but maybe director had a better take on it.
hmm
And I wanted to learn the post-production part of it. So what an editor gets out of it is very different than what's happening on the set.
hmm
So, and you know that when you watch a movie, the editor can make it or break it
Sure.
sometimes. So I would sometimes walk away. I wanted to see what they did with it based on okay, they're given a script and this is the finished film that they have to work with. They're going to edit it, and I want to
Mhm.
see how that works, and the adding of the music and the post production, all that other stuff. I wanted to see how that would be. It also allows you as an actor to start to give them things that you think are going to work better for your character development. It's just
hmm
not something you're going to think of as a 13-year-old. So um, it helped I'm sure it helped the editors later on as you get older that you can, you know, I'm not going to say sound bites, but
hmm
you can give them things that will actually work better.
How interesting that at that age you took that
Yeah.
viewpoint. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. So, well, again, you want to make a good product, and you sometimes don't want to give them something that they could take and totally throw off the direction where the character was going to go.
hmm
So,
That's really, really
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
For me personally, I mean, look, I definitely watched the show as a kid and everything like that. But your stuff where I really, I mean, not that I didn't notice you before, in the show, but one where I really thought you stood out was the World War II stuff, especially the POW stuff in the jungle and all of that. I I kind of, I mean, really, I felt like I don't know, I just felt like you went to another level as an actor type of thing. It became a lot more. I don't know. I mean, let's
No,
say maybe it's less kiddie.
first
I
off,
don't know what's going on there, but you
yeah.
definitely as an actor took it to a different
Well,
place.
thank you. There was definitely I saw an opportunity to show Ben in a different light.
hmm
Here he's not. It's not the comfort of Virginia,
hmm
and I wanted to show him uncomfortable.
hmm
Um, and and I look at it now and I go, wow, that was good. That was good. I mean, I liked how it was. It's not often that you can be in a series and have a character and all of a sudden they put you in a totally different scenario and you
Right.
you can see, okay, how is it going to work? And some things that Ben would have done on the mountain, you wouldn't do there. So yeah, I thought it was a fun opportunity, and I liked how it turned out.
Where did, like I said, I have an acting background. Where did you go as an actor to kind of go into that place, that space?
Um, well, the rustic part of it of just being there with nothing and having nothing, it's almost like camping.
Hmm.
When you're from my Boy Scouts and stuff, it's like they put you in a tent, they put you in a hot box, they put you in things. So you're just you're in that moment of what's around you. Also, the uncertainty of it all,
Hmm.
without knowing that we're going to be liberated or anything like that. So
Right, right.
there's you just I think as an actor, you sometimes just have to take what's there in front of you, and don't read any more into it, and
Hmm.
just experience it.
Yeah, there's that old line from like Spencer Tracy where he says the advice is just to act.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and maybe that's where that comes from. Yeah, that
yeah.
moment like that.
And so Dick Sargent was on our show at that point. He
Hmm.
was he was in one of my officers, and I remember sitting with Dick because I did Bewitched a few years earlier,
Right.
and just like the Andrew Duggan experience, I remember I said, you know, I reminded him that I was on Bewitched, and he looked and went, "That's great." And I said, "Yeah, this is very cool that I was on your show, now you're on mine."
That's cool.
As only a 17-year-old can say.
I'm sure he really took that to heart, especially with his background. He was like, yeah. Oh my gosh,
Isn't
that's funny.
that great? Yeah.
What by the way, what was it like being on Bewitched? I mean, Erin Murphy I've had on a couple of times and
Have
I
you?
mean, I'm a big fan of Bewitched.
She's
What
great.
yeah, what was your experience like? What do you remember?
Well, okay, so for me, that was like a show I was watching at the time.
Oh God, I bet.
So to walk on that set for me, I'm geeking out. I'm going, this is so much fun.
Oh,
And then to see the magic actually happen, where all of a sudden you have to freeze frame and get the other character in. Like for mine was um, Darren as a boy had a neighbor. I was the neighbor,
hmm,
so you know Dick would have to move out of the way. I'd be frozen, and then all of a sudden Gene Adrisco, which was the actor that played the kid, he would stand in his place. And now there was no we didn't have at the time, video monitors and stuff like that they could
mhm,
match us up or anything like that. It
right.
all had to be done in one take because there was no way you could have the camera in the exact position to be able to do it as a different take. So it all has to be done as a one take.
Oh man.
So you do it and you stop and everyone moves around, does their thing, you send, and then you go again. It was fun. And then there was a balloon that had to pop. So they actually had I think it was like a dart or something like that. They were from the backside, they were able to pop it, but without it going all. I don't know what they were doing. It was fun.
Oh, is that
So
cool?
much fun to do.
Oh man.
Yeah. And again, a half-hour sitcom, or not a sitcom, but a half-hour comedy is a lot different than a 1 hour film. So it was great. Loved it.
Well, you were talking about Michael Lerner walking on and going, "What a beautiful woman." I mean, I'm sorry, Elizabeth Montgomery.
I
I mean,
know.
I mean that had to be
I
quite
know.
a moment too.
Yeah. You're asking. Yeah, yeah. It was mesmerizing.
Was she real nice? Real
She was wonderful. She was really wonderful.
wow.
Everyone was great. I remember David White came up to me and goes, "I used to have hair like yours." So, and I said, "Well, maybe that's why your hair turned like that because your last name is White."
I love I love moments like that. You were, since we're talking outside of the Waltons, you were in, I believe, Streets of San Francisco too. Am I right on that?
No, some of those credits are
I
sometimes
was wondering about that one. That one, that's why I
no,
kind of question it because I looked
no.
and I was like,
I
this
did
is a weird
medical
one.
center.
Yeah, medical Chad Everett. Yeah,
Chad Everett
right.
and Steve Lawrence was the guest doctor of the week,
Oh,
and
wow.
he killed me with a leaky valve in my heart. So I had to be. So I remember the scenes there. I had to lay down and I had to stay very, very still. And of course, I'm not. I was just. I was not. I'm not going to say I was hyperactive, but I was definitely a moving type of person.
Yeah.
And they would have to many times say, "Eric, stop moving. You're in surgery right now." But it was fun because they would have tubes going right to you with tape, and then there would be a bag to lead out underneath it,
Oh,
the
wow.
tube for the liquids to go out of somewhere. So it was a lot going on, and so it was a lot of fun, and yeah, a great experience.
Was Steve Lawrence? I mean, I always thought he seemed like a pretty good sense of humor.
Oh, he
Kind
was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I obviously was not an actor, but
Mhm.
he was a star.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, big time.
yeah. So
Sure.
I worked with a lot of other big stars. I remember working with Fred Astaire it was called Over the Hill Gang Rides Again. It was a movie of the week,
Oh my God.
and I had two scenes with him. They ended up on the cutting room floor, but I had the experience with him.
Yeah.
And what a what a gentle soul to be able to work with.
Mm.
So I had those kinds of experiences that I look back and go, wow,
I mean, that's a
that's
real wow.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember meeting Elizabeth Taylor on Warner Brothers lot, and her eyes were they say they were violet. They were like a violet. They were not
How?
they
Just
weren't
how?
blue. They were yeah. Talk about a wow. So yeah, there was a lot of those kinds of craziness at meeting John Wayne.
Where'd you meet John Wayne?
I met John Wayne in a function in Santa Monica, and man, he commanded the room.
Hmm.
It just hit between his voice and his stature and the way he held himself. And I went, and I look, I see John Wayne. I'm going to go over and meet him. I was not shy. So
Yeah.
I went over and I said, I didn't say Duke, but I said, Mr. Wayne, it's a pleasure meeting you. And puts his arm right out there and just come here, son. Nice to meet you too. And it was like,
Man.
wow, this is so much fun. So
I mean, thank goodness one, you had the chutzpah to go and do it. And
yes.
then, two, that you could take in those moments to
Yeah.
know who you're around. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
No, it was
Where
fun.
did
It
you
was
meet
fun.
Elizabeth Taylor, by the way, when you said on the lot? Was she just happened to be coming by? What?
I, I think, what was she filming at that time? I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. It was probably 70, between 74 and 76 and Warner Brothers.
She just was on the lot. Yeah.
On the law.
God. I mean, I just am so envious of those moments.
Yeah,
I
that's a
just can't
good
even imagine.
question.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, it could have been anything at that
Well,
point.
no, I think she was coming out of the commissary, and I was just going into the commissary. So it was like I wasn't even on her set, whatever.
Oh,
So I don't know why she was there, but I
oh,
took
come
advantage of
on.
it.
A moment you'll never forget. Yeah, exactly.
No, no.
Wow. Did you, it's funny being on the show and yes, everyone, kind of went to their A game, but did you feel pressure as a kid to like, I gotta, I gotta hit my mark because we gotta move on to the next thing? Did you feel that or not?
um, Unfortunately, my memory was never good at learning lines. Um, and I tried, but
Sure, sure.
I just would go off and not remember the lines the way they should be. So I would at times feel guilty that I was taking so much time. Um, you knew you were in bad shape when they had to change the take number and had to add a letter to it because they didn't want the editors to see how many takes we had to do that. Sometimes I was just so into it, or I got mesmerized by the actor I was talking to
Hmm.
that I just went high. I just forgot the
Hmm.
lines. Or I had speech impediments that I worked out over the first season or two. But my name is Alec. I mean, it was I could not say my R's at all,
How interesting.
and I think the writers embraced that a little bit because they would give me lines that just were not easy to say.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
So they would do it on purpose, I think, because they thought it was funny. So okay, just torment me a little bit.
Oh my God. How did you get rid of it? Did you have any like special teaching or
Well, I
anything
went
like
to
that?
speech therapy, and then
Hmm.
I also before the show, I did at one point. I got a I got, I got this educational document. Well, it was like a series. It was an educational series, and it was
Hmm.
going to be
Hmm.
animated. And
Yeah.
so I had to provide the voice, and I was the lead voice for this whole thing. And it was every episode was a different subject for school.
Wow. Wow.
And the producer or the director of that was Art Scott, which if you looked up his name over at Hanna-Barbera,
Hmm.
very reputable guy.
Yeah.
He worked with me for weeks,
Wow.
just because now I'm saying all these terms for school and everything else,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of R's in there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he helped me a lot. Back to the, you know, putting marbles in your mouth and just
Yeah. Sure.
being articulate, and I mean, like OUR to me it was R, it was an
Hmm.
hour. So
Hmm.
it's like
Hmm.
there was a lot of work I had to work on. Now, my mom and dad were both from Massachusetts, so that could have been where my R's got
Oh, I'm sure that had some
disappeared.
influence.
I
Yeah.
joked that my first car got my license plate was Mikah. It was my car because my mom would go wash your car. So, it was,
Washaka.
so there was definitely a lack of R's in my family to begin with. And then I couldn't help myself. But casting directors felt that that was fun, when you're,
Oh,
when
I'm sure.
you're 6 and 7 years old, and, they thought I was from New York. And I said, no, I was born in Hollywood.
Right. And you stand out. I mean, that'll definitely make you stand out, you know.
Yeah, what they wanted us, it was very funny. Okay, so this was my first, that was my first publicity shot.
What a great
I was
shot.
7. Isn't that great?
I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was when I was 7. So I could, again, because of my height,
Yeah.
I could play 4 and 5-year-olds. But I
Man, what a
could
gift.
read, I could take direction, I could stand on the cues,
Hmm.
I could stand on the marks and stuff. So that was that was a benefit to me earlier on, that I could do a lot of that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
that's seriously cool.
yeah.
By the way, did you know, another thing that I didn't pick up on any of the interviews, with you or any of the cast so far or whatever is, did you know like the show is ending? Like did you know like this is the final scene? Did you get any of that sense?
No, they certainly didn't do it in a kind way. Um,
Gosh, I've heard that so many times,
yeah.
Eric, from people I've interviewed. I just can't believe this.
Well, yeah, they could have changed. They could have definitely have done it a different way. But the year before we had that decade of the Waltons where we thought that was the end. And
Hmm.
then they came back and said, okay, we're going to do a ninth year.
Hmm.
But Ralph's only going to be in 6 or 7 of them. So they probably paid him the same amount.
Hmm.
And instead
Hmm.
of doing 22 episodes, we're only going to have him do 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
Um, and then we did the last episode of that. And I think it was a Baldwin sisters reunion type show. And that was it. I don't think we even had a rap party. It was like, yeah, it was a strange thing. Lorimar was not, they were we always felt they were very kind with the other productions. Us that gave them the name of the company itself, Lorimar, I don't think they appreciated us as much as um, they did other shows.
You've got to be kidding me. A show that goes as long as
I know.
yours did
Well, at
at the
that time
top.
they were doing, they did Eight Is Enough, and then they did Dallas and Knots
Uh-huh.
Landing, and so I just felt that they went into the evening soap opera direction. In fact, they tried to put ours that way towards the end. I think if you look at
Hmm.
some of the episodes, I thought that's a little beneath what we were doing earlier on.
Oh my gosh, such a quality show. When did you actually know, like, oh, wait, we're not coming back? That's
It
it.
just got I think one of us heard about it from either their agent and or they read about it in Variety or CBS came out with the fall lineup and ours wasn't listed.
Oh man.
And we found out that way and we called each other and talked to us and went and then they came back to us right away with that was the end of CBS. Then NBC picked us up where we did those three 2 hour specials.
Hmm.
Three of them or four of them. Anyway, we did those that that next summer. So it's almost like we went right into production and did those. So
Hmm.
that was almost like our 10th year
Yeah.
as far as for transition. We didn't, you didn't have to worry about working because you just
Yeah.
book basically 3 or 4 movie of the weeks, and that's a great year for any
I mean,
actor.
that's a great year for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And then it allowed me to, I remember doing a Dr. Pepper commercial, a
Hmm.
Domino's pizza commercial,
Hmm.
and I did a Fall Guy.
Oh my
That was
gosh. Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah,
Lee
yeah.
Majors.
Right.
And it was directed, who was it directed by? Ted Lang.
Oh, come on. I've had him on the show. Yeah.
How have you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ted
Okay.
Lange, right? We're talking
Yeah.
about from yeah, in
From
fact,
Love
I
Bug.
know he got tight with Lee Majors and that's how Lee brought him in to direct
Yeah.
Fall Guy. That's so weird that circle that now you're coming back to that. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, So I did that year. I remember doing like 14, 15 days of work that first year after the show. And all my out of work actors go, 15 days of production. That's a great year. And I
Yeah.
went, I can't do that. So I started driving for a messenger company and I own the company now. So it was a strange transition.
What I definitely want to go back to Fall Guy for a second, but I want to know like I saw you in an interview and it might have been with Judy, I can't remember, but it was like, yeah, I had 2 cars and so I'm like, yeah, I do the messenger.
Yeah.
That's great. But there's something in between there. I mean, I'm sorry. You end, doing the acting, you're like, it's been 15 days. And then how do you suddenly go, you know what? I'll go do that messenger thing. Did you see an ad? Was there something like what
Yeah, I
sparked
went,
you to even do it?
well, okay. I was at home that first year. I was watching a lot of Bonanza. I knew Haas's lines better than he did. And I thought, I'm 23, 24.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't stay at home.
Wow.
So I I I saw this ad for drivers. And I said, well, I'm just going to try it and see if I talked to him beforehand. I said, I'm still trying to be an actor. He said, no problem. You can just go on your interviews. And so I thought it would give me the freedom to
Sure.
and if I didn't work that week or that month, no big deal. I just
Hmm.
tell when I'm available. So I thought there was a flexibility here, to commit to an office environment.
Yeah.
Um, that would be tough to do.
Yeah.
So, and I did work at the Broadway department store for a year. I did that for a year.
Where? What department?
I worked as a salesperson.
I'll
I
be
just
darned.
went retail. I wanted to see what that was like.
Okay, come on. Now I'm
Yeah.
a guy or a woman, whatever, walks into the store and it's like, hey, do you know about and they're like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so fresh off the Waltons.
Yeah,
People
but it's
would
LA.
recognize you.
LA, you would see people elsewhere too. It's like,
Well, that's true.
I mean, yeah, I could have lied and said I'm doing this for a part, but no, that's not me. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I'll go out and work, and that's what I did. So I tried it for a year. I went to all different departments, and I gave it 1 year, and I said, you know what, I don't like retail.
Hmm.
So I quit it, and that's when I started driving. And I thought, I'll try this now. When you haven't done anything as a teenager,
Yeah.
other than work on a series,
Yeah.
you're a little skewed with starting positions.
Hmm.
What do I
Hmm.
want to do? And there was still that thought that maybe another show would come on, but
Hmm.
nothing nothing happened. So I said, I got to pivot. I gotta make a living.
God, I'm really impressed. I am. I give you so much respect for that. I've had, I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people and it's been wonderful and I continue on doing this. But one thing that I've heard from almost everyone is that when they've been on a show and it's gone for 5 years, let alone 9 years. When it's over, they are like they don't exist. I mean, it's crazy. They go from being like, "Oh my gosh, Eric, how are you? Come on in," whatever, to "I'm sorry, we can't let you in," and it really screws up a lot of people because of that. Um, and the fact that you were able to just sit down once again, maybe this goes back to your mom, your dad, the fact that you were able to just say, "Eh, okay, well, it was a wonderful ride. Let's see what else we got out there."
Yeah, I mean, boy, life's journeys are so unpredictable
Hmm.
and they can be so rewarding. So I am not going to sit at home with expectations. You've got to
Hmm.
make something happen. So,
Wow,
I have absolutely no regrets.
that's cool. By the way, did you have, because I mean, anybody looking at it is going to go, "Hey, the guy was on the show for 9 years. He did all the movies, whatever." You must have had a ton of cash. What did you
They did
have
the money.
savings?
The money was not that incredible.
Hmm.
They always said to us, after 5 years, you'll never have to work again.
Yeah.
I added 4 more years to it. I thought I'd never have to work again. That's not true. The
Hmm.
numbers were not that great. Um, I remember making a lot of money when I was 20, 21.
Hmm.
Um, but taxes were so high back then.
Yeah, true.
Um, we our first year, I think we made 600 a show, and then it went to 700 a show, then it went to 850 a show, that type of thing. It was incrementally more. So, yeah, I walked away with maybe 15, 20,000 a year, but that's not enough to put
No,
half of it, especially when 35% of it was taken out for taxes, and then another 10%
agent.
your agent.
Yep.
You walk away with 50%. Then I was paying my mom to take me to the set.
Yeah.
So, she had to stop her career as a bookkeeper
Oh, sure.
to
I
do that.
understand.
So, and then I would buy things. I bought her a car, bought my brother a car. So, I would do things that as a family.
Yep.
Bought the pool for the backyard, bought the TV. So it was like,
Wow.
I was contributing to the family.
Hmm.
So was there, and then I did with my savings, I did buy a piece of property when I was 12 up in the mountains, where actually Fraser Park, where we would go once a year. I bought some land there.
How cool.
And when I was 17, or when I was 18, I took the money that was in this fund that they took a percentage of.
The Coolidge Fund? That
Uh,
that one?
yeah, it was the Jackie
Jackie Coogan. Coogan. Yeah, the
Coogan,
Coogan Fund.
Coogan Law. I took that money and I built a house up there,
Huh.
up in the mountains when I was 18. I designed it, had someone build it, and it was a beautiful house. I had it for years and years.
God, that was
Um,
smart.
yeah, so I sold that to buy the house I'm in now. So it all was great. So yeah, I mean,
That's
it's
cool that you made it work for yourself. Not only
yeah,
buying the land, but then building the house and then selling it. Now it's your house now. I
yeah,
love that. So
yeah.
you definitely got something out of it rather than just have that money just go, "Hmm."
Oh no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. There's definitely and there's a gift that keeps on giving. You know.
Yeah, yeah. What, by the way, kind of to close out a little bit, in relation to the fans now, because obviously, you're going to the shows and you get to see the fans. What has that done for you all these years later to be, still relevant with people and not just in the sense of, hey, you did a great job, but what it means to them, even on a daily basis.
Well, what it means to us is okay. So, you know, when you're on theater, and I'm not a theater actor, I've never done it, you
Hmm.
have an instantaneous response from the audience. Movies and TV, you have the residual effect,
Hmm.
financially and emotionally.
Hmm.
What you did in May in filming an episode, when the show is shown in September, and you get the ratings for it, you get the people that talk about it, you get the reviews of it, you get everything at that point, you get the feedback. That's
Hmm.
one gift. Now, fast forward 50 years, and people tell us how it changed their lives.
Yeah.
It inspired their family thought process. It filled gaps that they didn't have in their livelihood and in their family life. Well, that's where you go, oh my gosh, I would have done it for no money to have
Yeah.
had this kind of impact on that many people. And even now, people that did see it back then, but for them, maybe they've had a lot of loss. Maybe it's a tough time that they're having right now. It brings back happier times for them. Whatever the reason, I see people that say, I watch it 2 times. I can't go to sleep without it.
Yeah.
And I say it's that boring, but no, you need something else to put you to sleep. But no, it's a gift. It's an absolute gift to see how it inspires people now.
Hmm.
Um, and it's a great show. I mean, I watch it occasionally. My kids won't watch it with me. They laugh when I
Oh,
watch
is that
it.
funny?
I think it's pretty amazing.
No, it's an amazing show. The one thing I guess that I would say, because we talked a lot about different cast members, but Judy holds a real special place for me because she's been on the show 3 times. She's been a great supporter. She's just a darn good person, and you two seem to have stayed very tight
Yeah,
through this.
yeah. We actually, I don't know if she told you that last summer we went on a cruise together in Europe. And
No.
yeah, Bob and her husband and my wife Cindy and the four of us went on a river cruise together up the Danube, and it was
Oh,
wonderful. We had a great time. Well, again, that's the kind of people she is. Wonderful, and it was fun to spend time with them.
and you guys just have stayed tight all these years? Like, just
Yeah,
do you just on occasion just call each other type of thing, or?
yeah. Well, I'm a good caller. I call my brothers a lot more than they call me.
Mm-hmm.
I have two brothers, and then I have three stepsisters and a stepbrother from my mom after my mom remarried after my dad died.
Mm-hmm.
And Eugene's family is, still very dear to me. So I call them not quite as often, but I call my brothers pretty often, and I call the Walton family about as often. I try to do it at least monthly, if not more often.
That's pretty
I'll
darn
probably
cool.
talk to Mary, Judy. No, I talked to Cammy the other day. Yeah, David calls me. He's getting great at calling me. I'm very proud of him. So he's doing really well.
Did,
So
by the way, were you the only one in your family that became an actor?
my little brother tried to do it. He did a couple of shows and that kind of thing. It was very funny. So my last name of Scott was my middle name. So I changed it legally to Eric Scott.
Hmm.
My brother Dana, he actually used Dana Scott. But that wasn't obviously it was my middle name, but he took it for professional reasons. He did it for a couple of years. I think he might have wanted to do it. Look, he's a rabbi now, so he's doing it all the time. Yeah, he's a rabbi up in San Jose in Northern California.
I'll be darned.
He's a senior rabbi now. This just shows how long he's been doing it for. And he's wonderful. He's a wonderful rabbi.
So why did you become an actor? Like, I didn't even think about that through the whole
Okay,
interview.
so looking at that picture, I
Hmm.
had that look.
Yeah,
Now I'm not gonna. It's a little derogatory now to use that term, but back then people would come up to my mom and go, "He has that all-American look,
sure.
red hair, freckle face." Opie had it.
I was just gonna say the Ronnie Howard vibe.
Bill Mummy has it.
You
I
got it.
mean, all the kids of the 60s had that same
Yep.
generic look. Well, I had that look. So I remember people would come up to her and say, "Come on, you got to get him in. You got to get him in movies. He has that Norman Rockwell look." So she came to me when I was 7 and said, would you want to ever act?" I said, "Well, does it pay?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I knew that we did not have money and I wanted to go off to college.
Mhm.
And I knew I might have to earn it myself. So let me earn it as a kid.
Boy, you were way ahead of yourself
No,
for a young
no,
guy.
no, I had it down. So I did that and, went through a couple of agents that forgot about me. And then I finally got an agent. She was actually the agent for Eve Plum. So I said, "Oh, this is a legit agent."
Yeah.
And she got me out on interviews right away and immediately got into modeling and then commercials. Did a lot of Mattel Hot Wheels commercials
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and then went on to do episodic and did a couple Disney films and stuff. So it was like, yeah, it worked.
It was your mom.
It was my mom. In fact, I actually did a Hallmark Hall of Fame called Norman Rockwell's America with Jonathan Winters and Michelle Lee, which I think you've interviewed in the
You are
past.
correct.
And also, who else was in it? I think it was Dick Smothers.
Oh my gosh, what a
Yeah,
cast.
and it was done. It was a 3 camera, which and I had 2 scenes with Jonathan Winters,
Oh
and oh
man.
my God, try to keep with him.
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
God, he was amazing. Talk about like a Will Geer. I mean, but he had that Robin Williams energy,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is why he worked so well on Mork and Mindy later on.
Right.
But just couldn't keep up with him as far as
Were
here I
you
was
laughing
7
your
years
tail
old, and
off? I mean,
it just was very tough to keep up.
oh yeah.
When do I talk?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not like they're going to stop and let me talk, so I
I was
got
gonna say they're not gonna
I got to
stop
get
him.
in.
Yeah,
I
right,
got to get
right.
my lines in, or we're going to not finish this thing.
Oh yeah, that's a funny groupie. I mean, Michelle Lee, even in the interview I did with her, she's got some energy about her. And
He
then
does.
Dick Smothers would have been kind of the opposite in a
Yeah, and now that
sarcastic
I'm thinking about
tone.
it, maybe it was. I'd have to look it up. I have to
Well,
look it
either
up.
way,
It was
God,
one
take
of
the
the.
two
It
of
was one
them.
of the Smothers brothers, whether it's
What a
Tommy or Dick. Yeah,
what a cool opportunity.
it
Wow.
was great. And then I did another special with Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, come
um,
on,
and
Eric.
and Jerry Lewis, and it
What?
was like, yeah, it was called The Clowns with a K.
Ah,
So I did all these. I met these people along the way of my journey, and I was so lucky, so lucky.
ooh, that's
I
amazing.
mean, Sammy Davis. I remember him coming up. There was 4 or 5 of us kids, and sounds strange, but he says, "I don't want you having to stare at this thing. You want to touch it?" And it was, of course, his eye.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, "No, thank you, Mr. Davis.
Right,
I'm
right. I'm
fine.
good.
I'm good. I won't stare at it either."
Wow, that's pretty wild. He did that. Wow.
And then you also had Sandy Duncan, I think, on your show.
You are correct.
And I
Oh,
worked with
loved.
her on a Disney film, Million Dollar Duck.
Yes. Wow. Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. So I was watching, you had a little blip before we got on today, and you had a whole bunch of people, and I went, know them, know them, know them, know them. It was like, it was all in a row. And then, of course, you came up to Judy. I go, who's she? No.
That's so awesome though that you had that. Like I said, once again, you were able to take it in. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the gift.
It is the whole look, life is a gift.
Yeah, it is.
It's not just the entertainment. It's on a different plane,
Yep.
but my whole life has been such a blessing. I'm
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
yeah.
Well, listen, I I really appreciate you. I'm so glad we got a chance to talk. It's just
I'm
been
so
a
glad
while.
that you called me after I said, sure, give me a call. And I don't oh, it's one of those. No, I'm glad you pursued.
Oh
and
yeah.
you wooed me, and I'm glad we were able to make this happen today.
Oh
So,
yeah, definitely. And when I do release it, I'll definitely send you a link and all that. And I hope we run into each other at some point. That'd be
well, I
wonderful.
hope to see you again, and
Yeah,
keep up the good work. And if you need to get a hold of any of the other siblings, let me know.
I appreciate that so
Okay,
much,
man.
Eric. Thank you.
Okay, you
All
take care.
right. Take care of
Bye.
yourself. See ya. Hope you enjoyed the interview. Please don't forget to hit the subscription button and also hit the notification bell right after that so that you get notified whenever I have a new episode. And be sure to check out some of my other interviews. Henry Winkler, Jerry Mathers, Angela Cartwright, Shelley Fabre. It goes on and on. They're so great. Enjoy.